intelligent and creative. I am bold and determined. I rely on teamwork, and I am accountable. I am a competitor who will defend my territory. I love to play and will never give up. I am committed for life because I am a Raven.
And welcome to the Thursday Night Live, everyone, for the Panda Game Tailgate Party. It's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Ottawa, and yet another beautiful fall sunny day in the nation's capital. We are delighted you could join us as we get to relive one of the greatest Panda games in recent memory, and could not be more delighted and fortunate to be joined by two Carleton football stars, media expert and former kicker Jeff Morris, along with current wide receiver for the Ottawa Redblacks, Nate Behar, who as a proud Raven will give us an unprecedented bird's eye view of all the action of the 2014 game. Before I hand over the broadcast to our special guests, we'd like to kickstart the program by extending a special thank you to our presenting sponsors, TD Insurance and the Carleton University Alumni Association. And I'd like to honor them and thank them very much for their continued generosity. Also from the housekeeping file, let's acknowledge the location of Carleton's campus on the traditional unceded territories of the Algonquin Nation. Also, today we mark a very important moment and milestone in Canadian history, and we enthusiastically acknowledge that today is Orange Shirt Day, the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Today, people from all over the country are encouraged to take time to meaningfully reflect on truth and reconciliation in Canada. And Carleton is encouraging members of its extended community to wear orange, reflect on the harmful impact of residential schools, and seek out opportunities towards conciliation on this day and beyond. And now, on to the 2014 Panda Game, and let's turn it over to Jeff and special guest Nate for the Thursday Night Live. Gentlemen, have a great game, and the field is yours.
Thanks, Trevor. And Nate, welcome to Thursday Night Live. And before we start, I always try to get our guests with a trivia question. So I got one just for you. So when the Red Blacks were playing the Hamilton Tiger Cats last week, you caught a pass and you were tackled by Tunde Adeleke, your former teammate at Carleton. There's only one other time in CFL history that a Carleton player was tackled by his former Carleton teammate. And one of the guys involved in that play is a teammate of yours now with the Red Blacks. Do you have any idea who that might have been?
My gut is telling me that it was number 21, Justin Howell, making a tackle on the same Tunde, maybe when he's a kick returner or punt returner in Calgary. I don't know. I'm trying to think about the offensive weapons. That's what I'm going with. The only other thought is potentially Malcolm Carter in Montreal. I'm gonna go with Tunde as a kicker on special teams.
Oh, you had it so close. Justin's first CFL tackle was against Malcolm Carter.
First one too.
First defensive tackle was against Malcolm Carter. So
that's good to know.
It's good to know, and again, congratulations on the win over Edmonton, and you're having the best year of your career here in Ottawa this year, and let's rewind and go back to the 2014 Panda Game. The program started in 2013. You were one of the first year players then. The team wasn't really that competitive in 2013, but 2014. After just 1 year was a big turnaround. And what was your mindset going into the Panda Game in 2014? How did the team kind of look for that?
Yeah, I'm sure I'll say it a million times before we're done today. I kind of remember it like it was yesterday. In that, we put together one of probably the most crazy, psychotic, mindless, hardworking off seasons in history, because none of us knew any better. Coach Samara, strength coach Darrell Adams, and all those guys, they had us working harder than probably many teams have ever worked, because again, there was no vets there to say, hey, this is kind of crazy. We all just put our head down and went at it. So we came back out, great game in Waterloo week 1. Kind of got to impose ourselves physically, which was a very new feeling for a lot of us, 19-year-olds, some of us 20 or so. And then week 2 was against a great McMaster team. I remember they beat us up physically a little bit, but there was sparks. We did some things on offense that we hadn't done against a team of that level. I think we ended up losing. I think we lost by 3 scores. I think it was probably a 20 or so point game, and they ran the ball down our throats a little bit. But going into that third game, it was Ottawa U. They disrespected us when we played as freshmen in our first year in every single way, and we sort of knew that this wasn't the same team. There was something extra, that we had in our in our locker room. There was a little bit extra of that chip on our shoulder, and nobody knew exactly how it was going to play out. They had a dynamic offense, which we're going to see, and we knew they could put up points and all those different things. But we knew that there was a chance. There was a real hope. It wasn't just let's show up and hope for the best. It was like no, we just put some points up on Mac, who was a great football team. We've shown some things. Let's go into this and let's win this thing. And luckily, no spoilers. That's what we did.
And when you look back, I mean, I don't want to, spoiler alert for the ending, but everybody on the broadcast knows what happened in the game. But as far as your biggest memories from Carleton, is this game is this game it?
Yeah, I mean it's close. There's probably 3 big ones. There's this one. Well, all the Panda games, of course, but this one, is sort of our first mark nationally to everybody that, when we beat Waterloo, they weren't always, the highest regarded school, their program's revived now. So that first one was great, but this was sort of a little bit of the flag in the ground saying this is going to be a football team people are going to have to, really prepare for. So that was really great. Obviously there's our first playoff game down in Kingston. And then there was, beating the Purple Ponies in that fourth year. Those are sort of the 3 big ones, I think. But this one is always going to have that special place because, we set traditions, we built new traditions, that it's probably one of the best ones in the country, and some other things that went along with it. So it's pretty awesome.
Okay, our technical wizard, Colin Elliott, who's putting everything together behind the scenes, he's off the roof of the Arts Tower finally, because he's the guy that puts the birds in the formation before every show. So we're gonna watch the broadcast of the game, and we're gonna comment during the game. I'll ask you some questions, or if you see anything, jump in. So everybody, let's put our feet up, put our tray tables down, enjoy a snack, and let's watch some football. And Colin, we're ready for you.
The 2014 Panda just about set to get underway, and Carleton kicks the ball off first. Taken at his own 3-yard line. Number 25, Bryce Vieira, still on his feet, gets outside and is finally brought down around the 26-yard line. And that's where the University of Ottawa GGs will scrimmage. First down, 10 yards to go.
Mackenzie's really good runner in his own right.
His dad wore 32 for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and the Renegades. Ball's loose. Carleton has it.
There he is,
the
number
first
44.
turnover of the football game. And the Ravens have the football on the Ottawa U.
That's one of the hardest working dudes I've ever met in my entire life.
Leon Signorini?
He was incredible. I think he every single year won the hardest working player award, and there was never a close second. Then we got to come out here on offense. We started off with 1-3 guitar. I remember it was a read because they played so much man. My job was to crack the mic, who was supposed to be covering Javari. Then they ended up peeling the lineman, which means somebody else picked him up, and Gorgu's kind of stuck readless because there's only one thing to do. And this is now the second play from scrimmage, and he took off, used his legs, got to the corner, and we kind of all were looking at each other like, okay, we knew we were gonna bring some power to this game, but we're 1 kickoff, 1 turnover, 1 touchdown. Those are the 3 plays that have happened so far, and that sort of energy for a young team, that confidence that it gave us was just, that was awesome. Especially when you think about the fact that they did the one thing that would have killed that play, which is that 50 you see there, going with the running back, and we still made something happen, and that's how you start a football game.
And it's not an understatement, folks, to look at the University of Ottawa sideline and say that they're shocked. And they take one play, a 16-yard scamper from Nick Gorgachuk in for the touchdown. Domagala converted, and Domagala gets set to kick off again. Remember, the Ravens kicked the football away to start the game. Vieira again takes it at his own 10. Goes up the middle and is brought down around the 31-yard line.
Want to be throwing first off into the wind.
Wendell in the shotgun. Sets up, lots of time, takes off, dumps that off, intending it for Ian Stewart.
And I think can't be underestimated how dynamic this offense was, especially in the university setting. Though it pains me to give credit to a Gigi's team or anything like that, or Gigi's players. But this offense knew how to move the football. They had multiple receivers that could get downfield. Bryce Vieira was an absolute stud, real dual threat. That guy, when he caught a pass in the backfield or took it from the handoff, had a chance. And I remember they caused fits for so many defenses. So we knew what it was going to be, as a team, what this sort of game was going to look like, that there's going to be points scored. And, again, starting the game off this way, whenever you can get the ball in the Tunde's hands and get field position, good things happen, because this is the most dynamic returner in, Canadian college football history right there. And that's how you want to start a game. Obviously, I think we took a penalty here, as we did way too often for poor number 2. But, we're 2 drives in. We got the ball back in a decent spot, and we're feeling pretty good.
They move the ball all the way back to the 25-yard line. Gorgachuk takes the high snap. It isn't Gorgachuk, actually. It looks like it's
we had a bit of a wildcat package, and I totally forgot about that, with Adam Zassino. I believe he was the first year this year. He was a dynamic kid from around the Barrie area. With wheels, he could throw. He played quarterback through the OFC and things like that. And we had a little package in for him for some zone read type stuff. And he was playing sort of our 6th receiver. It was a fun ball player to watch.
That snap through his hands, forced to fall down on it. Number 93, or make that number 92, Rashid Timbilla, right there.
They're playing one high, and they're giving you probably a 10-yard cushion off the line of scrimmage. Is that what you were expecting going into the game?
Yeah, absolutely. So Ottawa U's always done this thing traditionally. They play sort of 2 main coverages, the third that they sprinkle in. They would play just straight up cover 1, which just means that there's one safety who's going to play deep, which Jeff, you alluded to, and then everybody else is going to play man coverage, all the other defensive backs. So every guy, so myself, Wilson, Kyle, Dexter, we got one guy in front of us who's going to cover us 1-to-1 no matter where we go. That was, option 1 that they stay in a little bit too often. And their other little wrinkle was they would play a cover 3, which means they have 3 guys deep. The rest of the guys are playing sort of underneath coverage, but they would do something cool with it where they would try to rotate their coverage. So they would blitz either a linebacker to the field or a boundary half to the boundary, one of the halfbacks, and then spin the coverage. So it would end up being the same thing, cover 3. But we know our goal was always, when we catch them in their spin, you make them pay, because somebody running the opposite direction is never going to be able to get to where he needs to on time. And as long as Nick's eyes get to the right place and the receivers knew what was going on, we were going to have an opportunity to exploit them, which we got to a little bit later on in this game.
The lone man back, waits for it. The Bellardini punt at the 2. Oh, and a great kick by Bellardini forces Adeleke deep into his own end zone. He picks it up on the dead ball line, and it will go into the books as a 62-yard single. And Gorgachuk.
That's an important point. That was an important point.
Fires that one to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it's a completed pass for 12 yards.
We love throwing our boundary one hitches. They're a extension of the run game, really. If you're gonna get a team who wants to play off coverage like that, and you can get into a guy's hands, there's gonna be one guy deep, one guy short. If you can get the low man blocked, then it's 1-on-1 with a 10 to 12 yard cushion, and that's something we expected to be a first down every single time, which we just saw there.
I'll put the referee hat on here for a minute too. One rule a lot of people don't know, especially receivers, is if the ball is caught behind the line of scrimmage on a hitch. You saw Edmonton running a lot of that in their bunch formation last week. If the ball's caught behind the line of scrimmage, there's unlimited blocking downfield. If the ball's caught past the line of scrimmage, you have to wait till the ball's caught. So it just opens up a lot of opportunities for you guys to create holes and make plays on that.
Without a doubt. Oh, there's nothing better than that right there. Number 32, Stefano Napolitano getting the handoff for the first down. There's nothing like getting to repay your hardworking fullbacks with a carry every once in a while, and he converted for third and 1 for us as well. This game was funny with a lot of, all the chaos around and all the excitement. There were so many broken plays. I remember watching film and stuff, and Coach JP Aslan, there's all the excitement, of course, about, the big results and everything, but there were so many mistakes by us as a young team. I mean, you just have to do it that moment. Everybody gets a little excited. we get the formations mixed up where we see the strong side or the field side, missing big blocks like that you can't miss a block on number 49. There's nobody like him in my memory.
One thing that I remember about my first Panda game was the noise. I had never played in a game with that much noise, and it was constant. It was beyond white noise. It was just like full throttle all game, and that threw me off a little bit. Is that something that kind of threw you off? I mean, you get used to it as the game goes on, but was that one of the things that surprised you when in your first Panda game at TD Place?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Luckily, we're a huddle team. We didn't have to do too much outside of the huddle, so you're gonna get the call, which is good. But absolutely, the running out of the tunnel the first time, and it's just like you said, it's just this constant, not drone is the wrong word. It's this constant buzz of electricity through the air that really does get things going, and it just makes it so much more fun. It's so enjoyable. Oh, I think we get to see number 2 do his thing right here. And there was nobody like this guy. Oh my goodness. Even with the end result there, just the twitch, his ability to change directions was just unbelievable. I mean, he's done it at the highest level. He's done the CFL as well as a rookie when he got to Calgary. Tunde is one of the most pure football players I've ever seen and ever witnessed at any level of football.
I remember as a referee in high school doing St. Francis Xavier Coyotes games, and they had Tunde and Nate Hamlin both on the team. And the school only went up to grade 11, and they won the city championship.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Those two guys were so good.
That sounds about right. I forgot about that fumble because I think we had gone 3 straight 2-and-outs to their offense to this point, which was pretty incredible because of what we knew they could do. And then we gave them the ball back in field position. And for anybody watching, I'm sure if you're watching this, you're probably a fan of the NFL as well. One of the big differences in the Canadian game is how important field position is. There's with the 2 downs, it's very, very difficult to put together 13, 14, 15 play drives. So when you start in your own end, holding people to their side of the field is such a valuable thing to do to win a game. And fumbles in your own territory in your side of the half almost guarantee points because again, our goalposts are at the front of the end zone as well. It's another thing a lot don't remember.
You're teammates with Lewis Ward now. We just saw him kick a field goal. Did you know playing against him he was going to be that good as a pro?
Absolutely not. I think I used to chirp at him, calling him Caillou and things like that because he's got that baby face and everything like that. We definitely had no idea. I think he's gotten so much better, as he's gotten older, and so much of kicking I believe is a mental thing, and your technique and things like that. He's clearly just refined it because now he's Mr. Automatic. He's great to have. I mean, I'm happy to be his teammate now. That's for sure.
Caillou.
There's another snap. And we lost that one.
You mentioned Stefano Napolitano earlier, and he's a guy that's overlooked a lot. And one thing that's really interesting about his career is that after he was done at Carleton, he got Italian citizenship and went over and played pro football as a national in Italy. And what a fantastic experience. But yeah, he was a guy, even though he was an OUA All-Star, he didn't carry the ball a lot. He didn't, he was a support player, a behind-the-scenes guy, a guy opening holes for the great running backs that Carleton's had, from Javari Bennett and Jade Rowe and Nathan Carter later. So what kind of teammate was Stefano?
He was amazing. Truly, he was one of those guys that be pretty hard to find anybody with something bad to say about him. He was just, he was always on the right side of things. He wanted what's best for the team. He was selfless. I mean, it says a lot that he led the way for 3,000-yard rushers. I can't say there's probably not a lot of fullbacks that can say that unless maybe you played at the Purple Pony School down in Southwestern Ontario. But, to do what he did every day, every game, barely missed any games, if ever, for injury or anything like that was something that not many can say as well.
Centerini right in on the University of Ottawa quarterback.
Wow, there was nobody open. Look at the time he has here. He's rolling around, and then all of a sudden he gets Centerini,
There he is.
really good linebacker for Carleton University, comes in.
Eric Wendell in the shotgun again. Definite passing situation over the middle for Stewart. Ball's loose, finally knocked down. Must have gone through Stewart's hands. He touched it about 4 times before the Carleton defense was finally able to knock it away.
Well, that was just a great attempt at a catch right here. Watch the number of times it bounces, as Dan says. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he gets hit.
Ball is down.
You surprised Santorini's not in the CFL?
I really was hoping for him. It's just tough, that position. They really do look for in value size, which was tough for him, because I mean, he deserved it. You knew if he got a coach or found got with a special teams coach that kind of wanted to groom him, that he would have been fine. But I expected that he was going to stick somewhere. It was definitely heartbreaking to see, because no one deserved it more.
Now, you just caught your first pass of the game there, as we just saw. What was going on this play? Do you remember this at all?
Yeah, this is just, us expecting them to play man again. Just working with Gorgie all sort of week about different things I was going to do. We had seen in film that Randy, the boundary corner, liked to bite on digs. So, I showed the roll in, took about two steps inside on the dig. He stopped his feet, snapped it back outside, just like we knew he was going to. And then it was just put the ball up and go make the play, which we got there. That last one as well was another fun one. The flat route I caught there that only went for about 2 or 3 yards. Because later on in the game, we used the same set, same series of play calling, and put a little wrinkle on it, which ended up being a touchdown, which is pretty fun. So I'm gonna put a bookmark in that short flat route for 3 yards, and we'll see when that comes back to bite Ottawa U for jumping so hard. Mm-hmm. There it is, 7-7.
Happy to have you along for the ride, and quite a few highlights in that first quarter, Tony.
Well, it was a mix of everything.
One of the things about this game, I mean, everybody talks about Jesse Mills to Nate Behar, but Jesse, that was the only play of the game. And people forget that Nick Gorgachuk was your quarterback in that game, and he played a great game. A lot of people, he's kind of the forgotten guy in that game because he didn't throw the winning pass. But what can you tell us about Nick?
Yeah, Nick was a gamer in every sense. He just made it happen. He's one of those guys who, we were just talking about Caleb Evans' great game with the Redblacks this weekend as a young guy. Gorgie has a lot of that same stuff where, he saw something, he thought it was going to work, he was going to let it go and let it rip. We joke a lot about how much of an impact he had on my sort of first all Canadian year, because sometimes he would just let it go to 11 wherever that went. But no, he played such a good game, keeping plays loud with his feet. You saw the very first play of the game. That 16-yard touchdown is all because of him. There's nothing else that, the play broke down and he made it possible. So he balled out. We wouldn't have had the chance, and who knows where that season would have went, and the rest of the trajectory of the team without that victory. So all kudos to him. I know he's out in BC right now, so we hope he's well.
Probably the hardest hitting quarterback I've ever seen, too. I remember refereeing in a game when he played for Myers Riders, and he threw a pick. He was really mad, and he went and blasted the return. and it was today he would have been ejected from the game because it was a head-to-head target hit. Back then it was just 15 yards, but my goodness, when he wanted to hit, he would have been a great DB or safety.
Mm-hmm. Because we had another Gorgachuk on the team on the defensive side of things who brought a lot of that same mentality to things as well. We actually just missed it for the highlights. I actually made a tackle in this game. I was a wing on field goal, and after a Mike Dom miss, sorry Mike, I had to come up and make a tackle. That was not something I know that I'm most proficient at, let's just say, which was, I think, a running joke after this game that I actually had to make a tackle, which was pretty funny.
I made about 5 or 6 in my career, and I think every one of them was a horse collar, because that wasn't penalty in the 80s. It was the best way to get somebody down, especially if they were twice as fast as you were.
There you go. Hey,
get the pursuit angle on the sideline, grab the horse collar, and just pull.
And do it until they change the rule. Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the Jeff rule now. I'm going to call it the Jeff rule from now on.
of Carleton's drive. Gorgachuk still in there.
The defense of the Ottawa UGGs is stacked up right now.
Gorgachuk flips that out for Bennett. Flags fly. Bennett gets out to about the 40. Domagala just gets it away. Nice spiraling kick. Vieira takes an Ottawa U bounce. Vieira picks it up about the 32. And McTommy, the fake. Wendell takes himself.
Power of his own read.
On the right side and is forced out of bounds. Wendell again takes off around the right side and it forced out again. Wendell for McTommy.
And this is one of those drives I think that really highlights sort of the dynamism of their offense, how multiple it could be. Having a guy like Derek that could actually run as well. Really, you saw it on a few drives or a few plays there. It was 3 plays, a couple handoffs, and some pulls on his own read, and all of a sudden they're down, in field goal range, and that's what this team could do. They could do it so well. So it's always great when the defense, as they say in football, bend, do not break, and that is a perfect example. Bend, they get to the 30, but do not break. Make your play when the time comes and get them off the field.
My stepson, Steven, who you've coached as a receiver, who's at Mount Allison now, he was a quarterback before he became a receiver. And I remember he was in a camp and Derek Wendell came in and coached him one day. And what a fantastic coach. And Derek Wendell had a great career with the GGs, really good quarterback.
Absolutely, he did. It pains me to admit it, but yes, he did.
The ball is up. He's got more than enough. And it's now 11-7 for the University of Ottawa. 11 unanswered points by the University of Ottawa GGs. Give them an 11-7 lead. The little flare to Behar. Behar gets some room around the outside. And Behar picks up 25 on the little scamper for another Carleton first down.
What I love about this,
we talked about unsung heroes. We talked about Stefano. Number 13, Wilson Birch, was probably one of the most unsung heroes in Carleton history. He was in on every single rep. Didn't matter the formation. Didn't matter how banged up or hurt he was. And he was the Swiss Army knife. You see him there. He's 20 yards downfield on a flat route behind line of scrimmage, still holding his block, which is just one of the hardest things in sports to do, is to block a defensive back who are shifty guys for that long. And he did that every single day. Didn't matter if it was raining, shining, what he had for lunch. Wilson is, he's one of the best for that, and he deserves his kudos. And there we go. We got another look at cover one. We took our shot, and there she is.
Gorgachuk hook up once again. A 44-yard touchdown pass from Gorgachuk to Behar, and the Ravens have retaken the lead.
Well, listen, 2 passes now.
I'm surprised, Nate, that the safety can't get over to that's a pretty long pass. I'm surprised their safety didn't get over there in time.
Yeah, we knew that Ty, who I believe was playing safety to still this game, stayed pretty central. Gorgie does a great job as well in his drop. If you had seen the replay, he was eyes right down the center. So when a quarterback stays staring down the center before he throws the ball, it's usually to do just that, to stop the free safety. A free safety is going to track the QB's eyes and starts moving and shifting to the side of the field that he's looking. And, being able to stare midline during your drop as a quarterback freezes his feet just enough that you can throw that wide side or boundary side go route when you get the chance. And it's key to, keeping any offense ticking, because if a free can make that play, you're in trouble as an offense, without a doubt.
The other thing I wanted to ask you on the Ottawa U's coverage here, on one of the plays leading up to the touchdown, there was a fake jet sweep, fake handoff, and then a pass to you in the flats, but nobody followed you. Nobody came with you. Was that something you saw in film before games and you thought, okay, let's run this because they're going to bite on the play action?
Yeah. So it was 2-1 Sun action off of, I believe, actually, I'm not going to say the inside zone's name anymore. But we knew there was going to be man when we get into those heavy sets. So with 2 tight ends in the game, they're going to play some man coverage. And, the thinking is, even if they follow us, he's got to chase through so much wash. The boundary corner has to run through linebackers and the safety and all this, and a lot of communication that has to happen. And, them being 1 second late means they're too late. So even if he did chase, the thought is, if I'm running full speed and I know where I'm going beforehand, even if he follows me the whole way, he can't catch up. And that's what we saw there, is they tried to react late and chase across the formation. But it's one of the hardest things to do as a DB, is chase things horizontally. And so we knew that was part of our game plan, that we were going to get free regardless. And then also, if we block it up on the front side, one guy chasing, try to make the tackle. I mean, that's my job, is to make him miss and go 8 yards.
It goes out of bounds from TD Place in the nation's capital. Stefano Napolitano, the big man, barrels his way through for 5 yards.
Surge forward so far.
Gargachuk again throws inside
There
and
he
completes
is.
that pass. Bobbled for a second, but
one
eventually
and
held
only.
on by Kyle Van Weinsberg.
Well, you see how
He's
quick
one
he
of the
got rid of the
toughest
ball, but he just
Sons of guns
takes a
you'll
step
ever
back,
meet in your life. This man.
and he got right on the numbers as he came
He
across.
was so talented. He was one of the craftiest, smartest receivers I've ever been around. Team Ontario quarterback before he got to us. He just gets football. He's just a gamer. He's one of my best friends, and was an absolute pleasure to play with, because he's no moment was ever too big for that man right there. This game he didn't put up some of the numbers that he's done in others, but 2 touchdowns, I believe, the year after. The corner out master, couldn't be covered on them. Kyle's the absolute guy. And there's another example. I mean, this play didn't work out, but some of the things you can do with a quarterback like Nick is a design quarterback draw. We're hoping to get the pass rush upfield and get him out with his legs. And just because it doesn't work doesn't mean it's not a great plan. And that was the things that he brought to the game.
Here's Wendell once again. Wendell, the quick flip for Vieira, trying to get around the left side. Vieira cuts inside, gets into the secondary, and finally taken down by Tunde Adeleke at midfield. Wendell throws complete to Stewart over the middle. Stewart with a pickup of very close to first down yardage. You'll give him 10, but it'll be second down and 1 yard to about a half a yard to go. Tunde Adeleke a little slow getting to his
A lot
feet,
of
Tony.
people at Carleton just remember Tunde as the return guy, but I think he was kind of overlooked at sometimes how good of a defensive back he was. And when he was playing for the Stampeders, I remember talking to their general manager saying, geez, I'm surprised you don't have Tunde running back kicks. And he said, he's too good of a safety. He's too valuable. And that's where he helps us more. And it's like, I think they had Roy Finch running back kicks at that time. And then he went down, and Tunde's first punt that he caught in the CFL was against Ottawa, and he housed it. But as a defensive back, you're going against him every practice. That must have made both of you better.
Absolutely. Tunde was such a blast. I remember this play exactly. I can't believe they called that on Deshaun. That was crazy. But Tunde was, he was a star. There's no other way to say it. He was just so athletic. As the years went on as well, you could see how much more intelligent he got back there. I think why wouldn't he? He was able to just rely on his athleticism for his whole life. And then he got moved around from boundary corner to boundary half to safety sometimes to, our sort of specialty positions for him and things. And it made him, I think, just get a bigger and bigger understanding of the game, which we see now, with his being a CFL All-Star last year. Because not only does he have the athleticism, as we know, but how smart he is one of the most underlooked things that people don't understand. He can read routes. He can lead back there, and he makes all the calls for the Ticats now as well. And he's just a joy to play with.
The GGs lead 17-14 with the point after pending.
Well, this is just great. Look at the speed he burst through the line. The little move there to make the tackler a little off balance, and
Lewis Ward in for the extra point. Victor Twinstra to hold. The ball is through, and the kick is good. 18-14 GGs.
master, but that's a pretty tough team as well. But they can play with anybody this year.
Hops over the head of Bennett, forced back to his own 2. Jamari Bennett out across the 20 to the 22. Gargachuk, the give to Aduse, trying to get around the right side. Aduse cuts up field and gets across the 30-yard line for a pickup of 9 by Quasi Aduse. Nick Gargachuk on 2nd and 1 at his own 31-yard line. Gorgachuk out of the shotgun, throws into the middle, and incomplete, intended for Kyle Van Weinsberg. And now on third down, Steve Sumara has a decision to make, Tony, at his own 31-yard line. Does he bring the big boys in and push the pile far enough to gain a first down and keep possession of the football?
We got everything we wanted there. We did our, you do a fake run up, which you'll see a lot of people do still in football, even the CFL. It gets the defense to declare early. So we saw all their linebackers go up to the line of scrimmage and stop, meaning Gorgie knew at that point that, okay, they're probably bringing some pressure. We had the quick slant teed up, and ball is just a little bit mislocated. One of the hardest catches in football, running back across and turning your body as well. I also remember this play like it was yesterday because they missed a blatant block in the back. Oh, actually, I think they might have called it. Thank goodness.
On that pass play you were talking about, I noticed also that the left guard chopped on that play at the line of scrimmage, and that was the passing lane, but he was the only guy that chopped. Was that by design too?
Yeah, absolutely. So in a 3-step 30 pro, as we would call it, O-linemen sort of have that green light to cut. I believe there would have been rules back then about which side of the line gets to cut it, if I'm not mistaken. We have to be certain that your guy's, putting on a real rush. You can't try to cut a mush rusher. Because the whole idea is the quarterback, we call it a 30 pro because the quarterback's taking only 3 steps. It's 1, 2, 3, and that ball's coming out as fast as humanly possible. So cutting those D linemen gets their hands down so they can't reach up and try to bat the passing lane or bat the ball to the passing lanes. And we got a lot of money doing just that at Carleton, getting those guys down and chopping them early so we get the ball out quick.
They give to Aduse. Aduse gets to the outside. He'll have a first down and a bit of a high tackle there. Still no flag. Zach Wilkinson had the hands up
There's
around
the
face mask area. Gorgachuk again with Aduse and Rashid Timbilla. The lone man back for the University of Ottawa.
I remember being a little bit frustrated the last drive. I think we ran the ball 3 times, got the ball back in 50 seconds, and down 4. Was super excited. I thought we were going to try to go get some points. Didn't end up happening. I remember being pretty fiery coming off the sideline, going up to coach and being like, "What are we just packing it in? Like, what's going on here, guys?" Because as receivers, we always want to go deep and try to make the play happen, but it's a good thing you have coaches because that shouldn't always be on us.
A pickup of 15, but he ate up too much of the clock, and that will end the first half of play.
Welcome back to the Panda game. The second half is on deck. It's 18-14. Ottawa leads Carleton. Head coach Steve Sumara, the Carleton Ravens. Steve, you're down by 4. Your assessment?
So,
what did you see?
Going into the locker room at halftime of that game, you're down 18-14, but you got off to a quick start. What was the atmosphere in the locker room like, and what do you remember about what either one of the assistant coaches or what Coach Sumara said?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely excitement. We knew that we had done some good things, and there was also that sort of another level of excitement of like, we fumbled 2 snaps, we've busted on a bunch of routes and kind of screwed the play and screwed our quarterback up, and we've still put up 2 scores and only down by 4. So that gives you that extra level of excitement of, okay, if we cut out the bad stuff, if we stop making mistakes and shooting ourselves in the foot, we're going to have something pretty special here in the second half if we can all figure it out. I remember coming into the locker room to that sort of nervous energy and excitement. I had to spend the whole, I think, halftime getting my shoulder taped because I sprained my AC joint pretty bad on the first touchdown catch. And then it was just trying to get back out there and, starting the half off the right way. We knew, I believe we got the ball to begin the half. We all knew that, and it was okay. Let's go put up some points and let's get this thing rocking.
You may bring in a few new offensive plays, but nothing too different.
Gorgachuk goes down. Rashid Timbilla. Domagala set to kick it away again, standing at his own 18-yard line. Domagala, not a great punt. That one rolls into touch.
Ottawa U gets it at the 52-yard line.
The Carleton 52. Here's Derek Wendell. The give to Mac Tommy. Tommy again, quickly wrapped up by number 25, Bamki Adewale.
But really, just fun to watch.
Gives him the century mark too. That batted down at the line of scrimmage by number 98, Josh Cardillo.
Oh, I
Fake
forgot
punt
about that.
finally.
Oh, he still got it off.
They get it away. Adeleke takes it at his own 7 with a little bit of room on the sideline.
Well, there's a penalty against Carleton here, and it's I didn't quite make out what the penalty was. So too many men on the field or legal.
This is never where you want to start the drive. Oh yeah. Oh yes, I remember we ended up giving them the ball back with that penalty, and they put them in great field position, which is just devastating. I mean, you're starting off a half like that, you go 2 and out, then you pretty much turn the ball over by giving them a free set of downs with the turnover. It's one of those things where, for a young team, you kind of get that nervous tension where, if they put up some points and they do something, like a lot of times teams will sort of break there. And luckily, our defense stepped up and held them. And then again, you get into that guy's hands and some good things happen, which is, getting the ball out, no single, and a free 15 yards because he runs so dang fast that people got to grab anything they can, which ended up being a face mask.
3-4 steps and he's out 12 yards, and he got caught up around the face mask.
15 from there, and you've got the 35. Gorgachuk now in trouble. Gorgachuk throws that off, completes it to Behar, and Behar wrapped up there by Tanner Kerr. Little play action. Gorgachuk rolls out, completes that one to
Great
Van
job.
Weinsberg, and Van Weinsberg
That's a
out of
great
bounds.
throw. Full sprint.
Stopped at the 52.
That's tough to do for quarterbacks. You naked, which means you turn your back to the defense and then boot around. You got guys screaming down your face, coming to whack you, and hitting that field side out route on the run, full speed, right into Kyle's hands is some pretty impressive stuff. That's great quarterbacking. And look at that, 2 plays were already out across midfield. And as we talked about, field position is so important. We've now got a chance to flip the field or go get some points.
Gorgachuk sets up, quick release, has his man, Dexter Brown once again, but number 21, Ty Cranston.
Dexter had an incredible ability to catch the football, and then also just an incredibly unlucky streak of getting smacked more than anybody I have ever seen due to things completely out of his control. He not that we set him up for the suicide routes or anything like that by any stretch, but he always had this. It was always every Panda game. It felt like there was 1 or 2 hits where Dexter just got blasted, and we were all like, I don't know what's going on, but he'd stand up every time. You got to thank him for that, which is always great. Ooh, Rayshon Provo. This guy was a rookie here in this game. Put on an absolute performance. He didn't get a lot of touches, but he was so twitchy for his size. A big back that could move. I mean, this run right here by Rayshon is just a perfect example. Winds all the way back. That's special stuff.
They lead this one 18-14, 7:51 left to go in the third quarter. Nick Gorgachuk and the Carleton offense complete to Behar. Behar at the 5, spins away. Behar, touchdown!
Wow, what an effort by Behar. That's just great. He should have been down 2 or 3 times. He just kept fighting for the end zone.
So this play came right off the one I was talking about from the first quarter, where he went to the flat, and they came down and banged me pretty good. So, we had another play right off it where that route came right back into the center of the defense. Got a little bit of space. I still believe that number 7 actually kept me on my feet by hitting me like that, which kind of helped us out and got us into the end zone. So that's some great play calling by Coach JP, as always. And, now we got some life. That's exactly what you want. You want to be the first one to score coming out of the half. And we knew we had a football game on our hands.
Of the Panda is going to go right down to the final ticks of the clock.
That's just a great. We had to see that one again. This is just a perfect run. Catches the ball, just keeps fighting. He should have been down about the 8-yard line.
To go. Wendell sets up, throws, completes that one to Tristan Bailey. How did he hold on to that one? First down, Wendell, the give to Mac Tommy, and he's got nowhere to go. Number 97, Stephen Carty.
Yeah, and last year he was an 18-year-old playing in this league. He's 19.
Stephen Carty seems to me to be the guy that was the real character of the locker room.
Oh, yeah.
I would guess that if somebody's controlling the music and somebody's the loudest and saying the most jokes and picking on everybody, it probably was him. Is that pretty accurate?
That's accurate to this day. I mean, a lot of us are still in fantasy football leagues together and things like that. And, he's the commissioner of our fantasy league. He's the one cracking all the jokes at people's expenses. And absolutely, I mean, he was a lot of the heart and soul between him and Leon in defense. You had the hardworking silent assassin in Leon, and then you had the jokester, Cardi, keeping everything in check. And they were a great duo that could play off each other really well. You gotta love that guy. He's still at Carleton coaching, for those that don't know, with D-line and things like that.
He was coaching summer ball a couple of years ago with, I think it was either Myers or the Sooners. I think it was the Sooners, and I had the unfortunate experience of being the sideline official that game, and he was in my ear the whole game, and sarcastic and funny, and he was just as he said, he's a character.
I'm sure there was some colorful language used on the sideline that day.
About a year ago, had his picture taken.
Ottawa U.
Little pass outside.
Another excellent throw. There was great coverage on that play, and he still got the ball in.
Stewart has the football. Make that number 88. Ben Fisher.
That's what they need to do, and they're absolutely doing it.
Here's Wendell. Throws, completes it to Stewart at the 10.
Wow, what a throw. Well, like you say, Dan, it's been a great turnout. It always is.
That's pretty much textbook RPO what they're running, isn't it, Nate?
Yeah, so it's, with their offensive coordinator, with their former coach, a lot of this stuff is, Anthony Calvillo back in his day. You have actions and plays like money where they're often, somewhat reads by the receivers, where one guy is going to run a deep route no matter what, and he's essentially trying to lift the coverage as the quarterback reads the backside defensive end. If the quarterback gets a pull read, meaning the defensive end collapses and he's got a chance to get out to the field free, you're going to have one guy go running a deep route, usually either a dig or a curl and maybe a corner. And then the inside guy or the lower guy is usually either running just an easy short in or an easy short out, but just finding the space, because a lot of zone coverage in the Canadian football game, and it's just that they're going to find space, settle down, quarterback gets outside, and when he's got a chance, he's just going to dink and dunk all the way down the field, as you just saw on that last drive.
Nate Behar to a gain of 11. He still got the first down, but it could have been a lot more.
That was a great defensive play.
Bennett, Javari Bennett, wrapped up by number 44, Nick LaCour.
Players on these two teams that have come up that we've all seen on Rogers TV over the years.
There's a chance once again for the Ravens.
You slapback got away with a cut block downfield there.
Just like that, and it's been
we're
really
allowed to these days. It was a whole different world.
You could cut block downfield back then?
In the first quarter, I actually cut somebody who was pressing me. We got away with some cheeky stuff back then because why not? Yeah, the cut blocks have been disallowed since, but if you were on the outside, you were allowed to cut. And if you're in the box at the start of the snap, you could also cut, but you couldn't be a wide receiver cutting or coming into the box to cut. But it was huge. I mean, for a team like us who did so much of that quick screen game, whether it was bubble passes, hitches, etc., the ability to cut just sort of as a changeup got in the DB's mind. If they knew, hey, if I run full speed downhill, somebody might come and chop my legs out. It really did slow them down, and it made it possible for us to do all that. Kyle was so good at it. He was always so patient. He'd get right up in their face, stare them in the eyes, hold them for just that extra second, and then boom, and take them out. And like you saw, got us that quick first down from Wilson. And it's like I said, next time I think we do throw another hitch out there, that DB is not going to be sprinting as fast. He's going to be waiting a little bit as we go here. And all of a sudden, the fourth quarter, that happens quick.
Across the 40, and it looks as though he's been successful.
They're really clicking today.
Gorgachuk in once again, looking downfield for Behar, and it was behind him. So second down, 10 yards to go. Gorgachuk in the shotgun once again. Javari Bennett. Gorgachuk swings that one out for Behar once again. He needs to get to the 30 and drags the pile. Actually needed to get to the 29 and got very close. They'll move the sticks.
You can trust that every time. Wilson and Kyle out there, they were going to block and put everything on the line for that. they're both engaged. You see Kyle after a cut down there, 10 yards downfield. And I mean, that's huge for an offensive coordinator. If you can throw bubble screens and trust that the two outside are going to block their tail off like that and get you 10 yards, it gets really easy to call a football game. And we did that consistently. And I think that's just because of how close we were. And we were always going to lay it out there on the line for one another.
Dumps that off for Stefano Napolitano and just threw that sort of sidearm. It looked like Dan Quisenberry was unloading that throw.
Yeah,
and Stefano Napolitano is down in this football game. It's been a pleasure to watch and call. Here's Gorgachuk looking to the outside, intending that one for number 13 Wilson Birch, and number 12 Kyle Van Weinsberg to hold. Ball is down, the kick is up, and it's good. The Ravens have taken the lead 24-21-12. A bit of a hurry up offense here to try to catch the Ravens defense flat-footed. Here's Wendell. He throws, completes that one to Stewart. Bellardini waits at his own 21. Gets the kick away. Another end-over-end kick that bounces into the hands of number 8, Dexter Brown.
Position for the football for them.
Gorgachuk again throws the screen out for Dexter Brown. Brown breaks a tackle. Fumbles the football, but it goes out of bounds.
Yeah, as I mentioned before,
that
I
was
don't know
a,
why
that was
they're
a
not
tight
going
one.
to
I
Dexter
remember.
Brown more in this half. Done it a lot.
There was a from the Canadian Football League. The rule is whoever touches a fumble last gets the ball. So remember, there being quite some confusion here as to who that went out on. You can't really see it. Sometimes in some angles it looked like it went out on the DB. Some angles look like it went out last off of the on our side. So we're obviously very happy to get that call our way, because that would have been a big play in this game had it gone the other way.
I could never referee in the OUA because I'd be going, our ball.
A little bit of bias goes a long way.
Yeah.
This right here, a kick from Mike. For anybody who doesn't know, his nickname is Iron Leg, Mike Damagala, because he was just, he's been one of the most consistent. I think he's the highest, all-time leading point getter in Carleton Ravens history, if my memory serves correct. Great guy. Now he's a Hamilton Tiger Cat, and he kicked the heck out of the ball. Won us a game here in a Panda a year or two later. He was a pleasure to play with. A fun guy too.
Yeah, he's the all-time scoring leader. I can't remember the name of the country boy scrub that he passed on the scoring list.
I think I might have an idea.
He didn't get all the punting records though. Just the scoring and kicking ones.
There you go. Don't ever let him forget it.
Yeah.
Well, he's been doing it all today, hasn't he? Passing, running, good setups, crisp passes all over.
Stewart gets pushed out of bounds around the 35-yard line.
And you get the quarterback running threat that's been happening here all day too.
They give one to number 26, Jordan Sutcliffe. 7:19 left to go. Third down, a yard to go for the GGs on the Carleton 33. The give to Vieira. Vieira gets to around the 30-yard line. He should have a pickup of 2, and they'll move the sticks second half. Here's Wendell once again. Wendell sets up, throws over the middle, downfield, looking for Stewart. Did he catch it? No.
Bounced off the
Incredible
turf.
play by Tunde. The way he hung in the air here.
Yeah, Tunde Adeleke. Right there, and
That's
Adeleke almost gets
that's
it.
some pretty special stuff,
there
right?
It is. It went
right
off
there.
off Tunde Adeleke, off his leg of Stewart, down, hits the ground right there.
That's what we talk about when he's talk about how underrated he is as a defensive player.
Mm-hmm. That right there, another beautiful play call by them. I won't lie. That sort of throwback. You fake a full roll, and the guy who was supposed to be blocking for the rollout with the quarterback actually leaks back the opposite direction. You see it a lot in the NFL with tight end throwback. But it's tried and true. It's one of those ones that usually does a pretty good job, and it got them a touchdown here.
Can't seem to punch it in, and here we go with a quarterback just takes it. Great offensive blocking.
At this point in the game, what was it like emotionally on the field? Were they feeling like, oh my goodness, we're in a dogfight we didn't expect, or was there something going on with you guys?
Yeah.
Like, we've got these guys, or what was going on kind of in your head?
We definitely sort of knew we needed to go get some points because now we're down 1. They had been moving the ball really well. Great run by Rashawn. But it was tight. It was a dogfight. I mean, we kind of had the benefit of naivety because we hadn't been in a whole lot of dogfights. Our only win, we won pretty handily. On the vast majority of our losses, we lost pretty handily. So we kind of had this youthful ignorance on our side of things of like, let's just keep going out and trying to make some plays. And yeah, I mean, you could definitely feel them getting a little tight, them getting a little stressed. They were not expecting to be in a ball game like this. And it felt great to get to have them, against the ropes. And, this is where things started to get a little dicey. We're punting down 1, rough snap, not a great punt. And you can start to feel this stress. And, it started to level up because you're getting towards the 3-minute mark, and now time started to, play against you just as much as the other team is. So you have them down here. Field position's key. If you can hold them down in this side of the end zone, this side of the field, you have a chance. And then they start with something like that, and your chest starts to get a little tighter. Watching your defense try to hold a team from the sidelines is always a tough thing as an offensive player. And you can see that they smell blood in the water as an offense, and really started to move.
The give to Vieira. Hops over the line of scrimmage. Wendell from the shotgun. Wendell once again. Throws that one out, completes it to Nick Dagger. Dagger again down to the 30. Wendell. The give to Vieira. Big hole. Vieira around the right side. Trying to get a block. Hops over a man and crosses the 15 to the 14. First down. 10 yards to go.
And this is what this is a textbook 4-minute offense kind of drive. This is what you work all week. You game plan for is 4 minutes on the clock. We're going to run the ball, conservative passes, keep the chains moving, keep the clock going. They just burned nearly 3 minutes of play and got a field goal. And that field goal now means that, we need to go score a touchdown. There's no more chance for us to score, to kick a field goal last minute and win it. So that was an incredible drive by them. One that by most intents and purposes should have ended it. And here we are, 1st and 10. Quick drop, which in retrospect, there's a few of them that end up maybe working in favor because of what they did to the clock. But now it's 2nd and 10. We come back to the play to score a touchdown. Throws a little behind, and all of a sudden it's 2nd and too long to feel comfortable. And that stress comes back. Is this still possible? Do we still have a chance? And now it's 3rd down.
5 remaining in the ball game. Gorgachuk on 3rd down, incomplete. The GGs will run out the clock. Wendell throws, rolls to his right, tripped up. Nice play there by number 28, James McCallum.
So luckily, I believe we have some timeouts here, which helps because in Canadian football, there's 20 seconds. You can burn every single play with the play clock. This right here is a huge stop because not only does it, is it a sack, but it keeps them in a very uncomfortable distance. They don't want to throw the football, as you see, because they want to keep the clock rolling. And they try quarterback draw. We get home, and that helps us just a little bit with that field position. Now it's 3rd and 34 seconds. We're sort of on the sideline thinking, hey, what are we going to do? Let's just go try to do our best, and hopefully we get a punt return here. But instead, one of the nicer punts you could ever see. The thing hung up there. It bounced. It rolled out at the 4 or the 5 yard line, and now it's 25 seconds and 105 yards of field in front of us. And I remember coming out of the huddle, looking at each other, and just saying like, "Hey, let's go do our job." There didn't seem to be any panic. It didn't feel like defeat either in the huddle. It was just sort of this like, well, hey, all we got to do is just go do our job. I mean, there's nothing special to do. The play's going to start, and we're going to do it. So we came out, want to get a quick couple of yards here so we weren't in the shadow of our goalpost, and end up throwing this ball away. And it nearly became the easiest pick six in that DB's career. Dexter actually got his hand in the middle of it, knocked it out and made sure that he could intercept it because that pressure was getting home. Gorgie made the mistake of flipping sides in 30 pro. So when it's quick game, you have to pick a side, throw it. He tried to flip sides of the field and throw the ball blind, and bad things happen. So now we're 20 seconds left, 2nd down from our 5. We'll still have a little bit of panic.
That's why that guy's a DB and not a receiver, right?
Exactly that. So now this is tough for JP as an offensive coordinator. What do you call? We saw them dropping, so we called another hitch. Adam made a great move, Zacino there, snuck inside and got back outside because he just saved our butt by getting out of bounds. not only did he get 15 yards, but he stopped the clock. We can get in the huddle, take our time, get another play call in, and keep it moving.
Out to the 18-yard line.
Well, I like that play. They've run that one before.
Were they in a prevent coverage there? Were they like, I know, like, look, that's like a cover 7, it looks like.
Yeah, they started dropping into more cover 4 type shells. It was really sort of a double cut cover 3, but they left a little bit too many holes in the coverage for sure, because they can never let somebody get to the sideline like that. We knew that, us throwing over the middle is what they wanted, but the lack of angles they took sort of gave us a chance, because now we got up to the 55 with 5 seconds left, or with around 5. I think there's 10 seconds on the clock at this point, and we still got a chance.
That is just amazing.
And that's a huge play. Nobody really remembers that play before the Hail Mary to get the ball up to the 55.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think it was 3-2. Hank Rash Fox, I still remember the play call. And then, the fact that we got to get out was huge. And then that right there was also another one, because they were rallying down. We were trying to get a little bit closer so we could throw a Hail Mary and reach the end zone. And it actually slipped through Adam's hands. But it was kind of a good thing, because they had linebackers, DNs flowing, and if you got tackled in bounds, we were toast. It was all over. So him dropping that ball kept 5 seconds on the clock, and gave us the ability, or the chance to do this, which we called 1-4 Hank Gretzky, because we called a go out a 9 route, and Gretzky is 99, of course. So 1-4 Hank Gretzky is on the clock.
Nick Gorgachuk sets up, throws it downfield. It's caught by Behar! It's a touchdown!
Oh my goodness!
Behar wins the Panda for the Carleton Ravens on a Hail Mary!
And it was tipped into his hands by the defensive players. They were trying to bat the ball down. They did the right thing. They knocked it down, but Behar was right there.
Behar!
One of my buddies was the official in the end zone who called the touchdown on this play. And I remember him telling me he called the touchdown, he put his hands up, he saw the bench clearing, the dog pile on you, and then he saw the flood of students coming on the field, and he said, there's like 15,000 people running toward me. And he just like ran away. He was terrified. But that must have been an unreal feeling for everybody after that catch. But you said you practiced that play. Did you practice that as a tip drill? Is that and Dan Mooney, the announcer, said it was Gorgachuk, but it was Jesse Mills went in for that one play. So how did that all play out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jesse's, as we saw for the next 2+ years of Carleton legend, he's got one of the biggest arms in Canadian football. So he was always gonna be that guy that threw that. But yeah, we walked through our Hail Mary set every day before the game. We knew what our landmarks were. We knew who was supposed to be at 6 o'clock, who's supposed to be at 9, who's supposed to be at 12, etc. And then Dexter, laying himself out there for the team as a point man who's going to jump. He had a good vertical. He's going to try to make a play on the ball if he can, and if not, tip it up, make sure it stays up so that somebody else can make a play on it. So we all hit our slots that we practiced. It was where I needed to be at 9. I believe KY was in front at 6 and Wilson to the right at 3. And it worked out the way it was supposed to. That's a kudos to Coach JP, because that's one of those things that, yeah, you can talk about it, but actually making us walk through it before every single game. Even when we were getting our butts kicked by 60 in our first year, we would walk through our Hank Gretzky to make sure we knew what we were doing. It's a lot of attention to detail that matters in the biggest moments. And it showed off here, and then we got to celebrate. And 2 of my best friends and my 2 roommates, number 12 and number 13, were the first ones there to sort of hug and tackle into the ground. And we got a pretty special photo from that we'll probably keep forever, because that moment was, as you just said, surreal. It was like nothing I've ever experienced before.
I couldn't tell from the camera angle, but where was the ball when you caught it? Was it down near your knees or shins, or was it? Mm-hmm. So you kind of went down and scooped it before it hit the ground?
Yeah. So it was pretty much just off my laces. So we got kind of lucky the trajectory it took, because 6 inches in the other direction, and it probably would have been too far. But we got fortunate that we were able to catch it in stride. The other terrifying part in U Sports and CIS is that your knee can't touch the ground. So if I had to die for it, the play would have been dead where I was because we were about 10 or 15 yards away from the end zone. So the fact that it was close enough that, we could catch it and stay in stride was absolutely massive for us. And there it is.
So, I mean, preparation meets luck, and you're standing at the corner of it. And a little bit. So it's, yeah, I mean, that was like the perfect storm for that play. Now, you didn't make the playoffs that year, did you?
We did not. No, we needed to beat Queens week 8 or week 9, I guess, with disappointing outing and a bit of a rainstorm. We played like crud in the first half. So it was very disappointing. We were really expecting, we really thought that we had the talent to be there, and I still think we did. We just couldn't stay consistent. We lost the entire way through. And I think that spoke to our youth. After a game like this, everyone gets a little too high on themselves and doesn't necessarily bring that same energy the next game. And then after a loss, young guys are re-energized, reinvigorated to go out there and prove themselves. And that's something that we had to work on. And years 2 to 3, we made that jump. But it was definitely frustrating.
How did this? Well, we all know how this game changed the program. The program's still in its infancy a little bit. It's in its second year. Biggest win, probably biggest comeback win in one of them. There were some other great comebacks also, but how did it change everything? Because I'm gonna go back to 1983, because in my second year we were losing in the Panda game with 9 minutes left, 28-4, and we came back and won 33-28, and it was like, John Dolly, whose record you broke in that game, caught 15 passes for 240 some yards, and he just, like, every play in the fourth quarter, he was wide open, and he scored 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. It was unbelievable. But the team was different after that game. And how did this team change you guys as far as that 2014 team goes and moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it had a huge impact on confidence. Like, they were a good football team. They could score. They could do this, that, and the third. And it kind of gave us the understanding that, there's going to be dogfights. There's going to be games that are tight, and they're going to be hard fought, and it can very literally come down to the last play. As a defense watching that, our defense, they realize, oh, wow, we got to keep playing for these guys because they can go and score. As an offense, we also realize, hey, settling for 3 points is not an option. Every single point matters, and it's just confidence that comes in and makes a big impact. We went and got our butts kicked and humbled the next week at Laurier's homecoming because we probably enjoyed the sweet flavor of victory here for a little bit longer than the 24-hour rule that coaches usually talk about. But it did, bring some of that confidence to us that, hey, we're real. We'll win against Waterloo is one thing, but a win against this great Ottawa U team is another thing. And let's start, leaving our mark on the league.
And I mean, what a perfect theater for you guys to kind of have your biggest moment, because had that been just a game against McMaster with 2,500 people in the stands, it wouldn't have made nearly the impact that this game did. We talked about some of the CFL players in this game. I saw the DB from Ottawa U, Ty Cranston, I think. He's playing in the CFL. We talked about Lewis Ward. You've got yourself playing. The game against Hamilton we mentioned at the beginning of the show, I think there were 5 or 6 Carleton guys playing there. So a lot of you guys have kind of gone on to the next level, but I mean, the pro football ride is pretty short. So what are you doing aside from football and getting ready for the next phase in your life when this is done, or what are you doing in the off season?
Yeah, absolutely. The last year and a half, I took another endeavor that has me just as terrified as I was my first game at University of Western as a freshman at Carleton, which is founding a tech company and just been building that. So what it is, it's the Firework app, or Firework. It's an extension of the life I've lived as an athlete, as a pro athlete, playing with other guys and, understanding the space. And what we do is we help athletes and brands, connect and run ad campaigns together. So brands find athletes to sponsor, and the athletes in turn, talk about the brand, they endorse the products, and everybody sort of wins. And it's just one of those things that's, it's been a learning process, as anything worth doing is, but it's been very, very rewarding. Seeing some guys that I know, sign some, $1,000 deals through the platform, find new brand partners, seeing some, small brands get to work with some athletes and get super excited, making it all worth it. And as much as it's, I don't sleep nearly as much as I would like to. But it's all going to be worth it in the long run, and it's been an absolutely joyful ride.
And I know once you become an old crow and you move on from your playing career, it's all about giving back as far as Carleton goes. And I know, mentioned earlier in the broadcast, you've been involved with the Junior Ravens and the Ravens Elite Prospects program, coaching. How has it been coming back to the school and giving back as a coach? And seeing so many of these Junior Ravens players now playing for the Ravens, but it's got to be kind of fun to come back and help the program in that way.
Absolutely. I mean, Carleton's my home, Ottawa's my home, and seeing what the impact of the community has been, from being at a school that nobody really knew how to team or what was going on, to sort of being the face in a lot of ways of university sports in this area. I think hopefully taking over from even the big bad yellow guys down the 417 in Kingston soon as well. It is awesome. I mean, we're hopefully going to see this coming week a junior Raven break the all-time rushing record in Nate Carter. And I remember the first day ever seeing that guy coaching in the field house over at Carleton. So that's in and of itself is a case study to say of how crazy the impact can be. And how awesome that impact can be. And it's always fun for me to get to come back there and see people, see the excitement. And Ottawa is just such a hotbed for football. It honestly blows my mind every single time I get it, whether it's there, it's an CAF All-Star game or what have you, the talent that can come out of the city. And hopefully it's going to continue to set Carleton up for the future.
And that's the thing. You talk about the talent here, and you look around at I was watching some of the Queens Ottawa game, and I can't remember his first name, the Sutherland kid running back for Queens. His brother, Jonathan Sutherland, is the tailback for Penn State. And they played in the North Gloucester Giants program. And then you see Sean Lacusa at Penn State, who played at the Bel Air Norseman program. Like you see these guys popping up everywhere, not just Carleton, some of the OUA schools, but it's when you see players have success in the U.S. and even get looks in the NFL, it's got to say a lot. And you're a former OUA player, and you're up against guys that played in the NCAA. You're up against American guys, and the margin of difference is minimal. Like I don't think there's back in 30, 40 years ago there might have been a huge difference, but that's a very fine line now. And have you seen during your career the improvement of the guys coming in? Take a look at Curly Gittens Jr., the year he's having. He's one of the best receivers in the league right now. He's another guy played for the Orleans Bengals growing up. So what's it been like? And you've been in the league now 5 years. What's it? What are you seeing from the Canadian kids coming up at different positions?
Absolutely. I mean, the skill positions have made the biggest jump over the last few years. Probably over the last 10 to 15 or what have you. And it's great to see, it's so much of it, I believe is that, of course, naturally there's always going to be similar level athletes everywhere. It's just the quantity, right? There's just so many more football playing kids in the United States. I mean, what is it? They're 10x on population or more. They're probably double that in football playing population. Like we know that. So for every stud athlete there is here in Canada, we talk about a Chase Claypool, we talk about a Chubba, we talk about a Curly, Jesse Lucetta down in Penn State, what have you. They can all play at that top tier level. And it's just now making it where the kids in Canada have that same level of competition, the same level of coaching from a real early age. Because one of the first things I noticed, I got to Edmonton my first year, and I was like, athletically, I back up here. Like I can run and jump and lift things, pick them up, put them down, move side to side. But at the receiver position, it was just such a more detailed approach to route running and these different things that I think just starts at a younger age. And also just because football's more mature as in its lifespan in the States, of course. So it's catching up because everything's catching up. Digitization of coaching and, online coaches, and also just, everything incredible that, Football Canada, U Sports, CIS is doing, OUA, sorry, I should say, to help grow the game here. And I think soon it's going to be, 1-to-1. There's always going to be the quantity, advantage in the US without a doubt, but the quality and that sort of top tier is going to be neck and neck very, very soon.
And we talk about the quarterback position. No, you were thrown into a crazy situation when when the two quarterbacks from the Redblacks got hurt. And Matt Nichols, he owes you dinner, because instead of going down, he just ran off the field. And it's like, okay, Nate, you're in quarterback sneak. And you had last played quarterback, what, 9 years ago in high school?
Yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah, I think the last time I took a snap was 2011 or 2012.
Wow. The last quarterback from Carleton to play in a CFL game was in 1963. It was Glenn St. John with the Montreal Alouettes. And so you were the first guy since 1963 to play. And then the last CFL pass completed before your pass was Peter Stenerson in 1980. He was a quarterback at Carleton in the 70s, but then he became a slot back and a DB. He played both ways. And in 1980, he ran a halfback option and completed a pass. So it's been 41 years since a Carleton Raven completed a pass in the CFL. So that's one for the record book that
there we go.
You probably want to hang on to. And yeah, tell Caleb Evans you're still at 100%. Your passer rating is through the roof. It's 180 something. So. Anyway, Nate, thank you so much for joining us. And one last thing. I wanted to mention, I wanted to leave it till the end, because it's sometimes life transcends the game. The Panda game is this weekend, but our hearts really do go out to the people and the players and the coaches and everybody at the Ottawa U family for the tragedy that happened with Francis Perron, their defensive lineman. It was if I don't know how many people watched it, but before the game against Queens, they brought his jersey out on kickoff cover and put it on the field, and then took a delay of game penalty just to honor him. And as a player, how do you cope with something like that? How do you adjust? Because you're looking at a situation where you've got to get ready for a football game, but life is so much more important than a game. And how does that affect you as a player when you go through something like that?
From the small life I've lived, I can't say that I have anything to draw on that can compare. I feel for those guys. I feel for their community. I feel for everybody attached to it. The tightness, the tight-knit group that happens in a university locker room is like few things I've experienced elsewhere. And to imagine, a soul and a life be sucked out of that so abruptly it's one of the saddest things I've ever heard. And, I hope that, hopefully they can find solace or joy or reprieve or whatever it is in the game that they love, and playing together and sort of enjoying these moments with one another. I pray for their peace and their, whatever that form that takes. I also just hope that, everybody attached to it is comfortable being vulnerable, because this, things can only start to move once, they're dealt with and met head on. And as terrifying as the emotions attached to this must be, I hope that in the long run, all these kids are okay.
Yeah. And it's a rivalry. It's the biggest game of the year. It's us against them, our end of the canal against their end of the canal. But everybody that's played in the game, everybody that's even goes to the game has friends on the other team, has friends on the other side. There's former guys play against their former teammates. They play against their buddies. They play, it all goes out the window during the game, but before and after and in the off season, it's like that. And friendship and compassion trump the game itself, and life transcends the game. And this is one of those moments. So we just hope that everybody can, take a moment to celebrate him, and then get on with the game.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it is a difficult situation for them, and our hearts go out to everybody that suffered a loss over there. So, are you going to the game? Are you going to be able to see it?
I do believe that we are going to miss the kickoff due to practice, but I will be able to take in a good chunk of it, which I'm very, very excited for. I'm always going to be cheering on our guys and excited to just see some effort and hear the buzz. And I'm also really excited for every unnamed first, second, third year who hasn't got to experience this because of COVID, and just getting to, you know, feel the energy again and that little extra bit of normalcy back into life with, you know, getting people out to a sporting event together is going to be pretty darn special to see. And these kids deserve it. Like, I can't imagine what they've been going through the last 2 years. So let's go Ravens.
It's a crazy day and a crazy thing. I mean, everybody that's played has crazy stories. I remember one game in 1983. I was lined up to catch a snap on a punt, and somebody had they had built slingshots, and there were water balloons and other things flying across the field over our head. And I got whacked in the helmet just as the ball was coming. And after I punted it, I looked down and there was a fish that was splattered on the field. Somebody actually hit me with a fish with a slingshot. So somewhere there's some Ottawa U grad sitting at a bar to this weekend going, I hit the butter with a poisson this way, right in the head. And then I had to have Colonel Nasty clean up my helmet and all my equipment because it went inside my shirt and whatever. And so it was like, you know, you think of the crazy things that go on that game, but it's a real celebration, and we really hope it's a great football game. Nate, thank you again for joining us. We really appreciated that, and thanks to everyone for joining us. We look forward to you joining us again for the next Thursday Night Live. I think Colin's got all the birds lined up on the Arts Tower again. So so long, be well, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for a 2014 Panda Game Tailgate Party.